Hey everybody, welcome to the Real United States. We're back in the kitchen, and I've been trying to do more of these. I guess people really are enjoying them, so woohoo. I'm glad of that because it's cold outside this time of year. I did wear nice, festive, appropriate colors for today. I hope you enjoy that. Anyway, so today I'm doing pudding, as you saw from the title. Now, this is an American pudding. The word pudding means something very different to Americans than it does to Britons. All right? In the United States, and well, I think probably all of North America, I think, pudding is a creamy, dairy-based dessert. Pudding in the UK, as I understand it, is more of a fruitcake. Or a heavy sort of a thing with flour in it and stuff. Now, today I'm doing an American pudding. It's very quick, it's very simple. In a future episode, be waiting for this, I am going to do a British style pudding. Something probably from the 17th century, 18th century, called figgy downy. And I don't know, you put it in a pudding cloth and you boil it, and it's very complicated. But anyway, that'll be a future episode, which I hope you enjoy. Today we're going to do a standard pudding, but we're doing a cooked pudding. Now, again, in current society, pudding, well, you can buy it already made. I know a lot of people do. We do not. But you can buy a cooked pudding or an instant pudding. Instant pudding is nice. You mix it with milk, you shake it around, you pour it in a bowl, you stick it in the fridge, it sets up, you give it to everybody, voila, pudding. Cooked pudding is just what it sounds like. You put the milk and you put the pudding mix and everything in the pan and you cook it, and you pour it in bowls and chill it. Now, cooked pudding, which I'm doing today, I'm not doing it from a mix, so I'm doing it the way I do it, which is from scratch. And the reason that's important is because if the store doesn't happen to have what you want, or you can't get to the store and you want pudding or something else happens, it's good to know how to do it off the cuff because it's simple. I like cooked pudding because it does get that skin on top. Now, some people go, ew, skin on the pudding. I like it. A lot of people do like it. I believe Beverly likes it. She's giving me a thumbs up behind the camera, okay? You know, it's got some texture to it. If you don't like it, scrape it off and just eat the soft stuff underneath. I don't know what to tell you. You're missing a goodie, though. Anyway, we are doing a cooked pudding because it's it's the way we have for thickening the pudding. And pretty straightforward. So we're going to come down here. We're going to look. Okay, you got milk and sugar and a flavoring, which in our case is going to be chocolate. We'll get to that in a second. And then you have thickening, which is, you can use cornstarch, I guess. I don't know if it's going to get that nice skin and be thick enough. We use a roux. Now, a roux consists of a lipid, an oil or grease, and flour. I use what I call a 1 tablespoon per cup. 1 tablespoon meaning 1 tablespoon of flour and 1 tablespoon of butter per cup of fluid that I'm going to thicken. Well, for the two of us, we were pretty heavy eaters. Sorry. I'm going to make 4 cups of pudding, 4 cups of milk. So I'm going to use 4 tablespoons of butter, 4 tablespoons of flour, which, for those of you that are quick with math, is a 1/4 cup. Now, for those of you who aren't real well versed in the kitchen, you don't have to guess or find some, you don't have to measure. It's right here. It's right there on the stick of butter, folks. See? 1 tablespoon, 2 little tablespoons, 3 little tablespoons, 4 little tablespoons. You cut it off. That's accurate enough. So, I'm going to cut this off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which is half a stick, incidentally. That's it. There's 4 tablespoons of butter and 4 tablespoons of flour. I'm going to stick these in the La Crusette Saucier, a pan specifically designed for making sauces. Let me see. I'll turn my heat on. I'll throw my butter in the pan. That's going to melt here soon. And when it does, I'll add my butter and stir it around and cook it until you get the raw flour taste out of your flour. Okay? We'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully it will get away from us, all right? Other stick of butter, we'll hang on to that. Maybe we'll have some pancakes or something. This is a pound of chocolate, by the way, folks. This is 1 pound block of chocolate. We buy this at a Amish store, about 20 miles from here. It comes with 10 of these. It's 2 blocks wide, 5 blocks long, in the columns, rows and columns, you know. So there's 10 pounds of chocolate. Relatively inexpensive per pound when you buy it that way. And it's a very good, this is milk chocolate. They also have a dark chocolate and the white chocolate. We buy the milk chocolate because it's the most versatile, and 10 pounds of chocolate lasts us quite a while. I'm going to use half a pound of chocolate for 4 cups of milk for my flavoring. And we're going to hope that I don't cut my hand off doing this, basically. So okay. There we go. Half a pound of chocolate. Which I'm going to try. Oh yeah, it's going to fit in the food processor. And I'm going to just grate that up, hopefully. Sure, why not? Just trying to get it small enough so it'll melt quickly and easily. So, perfection is not my aim here. That'll still melt up just fine. It's not the end of the world. So, voila, chocolat. Now I'm going to do this all in one bowl, one pan rather. It's just easier that way. Makes for less mess. I'm going to make my roux, then I'm going to put my milk rather in there. Start bringing it up to temperature. I'm going to add my sugar, my chocolate, to dissolve it while it's getting hot. It'll come to a boil. You boil it 1 minute, turn it off, pour it into bowls, let it cool. That's it. It's that simple. A whisk, as my butter is starting to melt. I turn it up to high for a moment. I don't want to get brown butter by any stretch of the imagination. But it is melting. There, it's melted. There's 4 tablespoons of butter. And I'm going to put in my 4 tablespoons of flour. Nothing fancy there, folks. It's a roux. So we're going to turn that down. I don't want to scorch it. But I do want to cook it. Because raw flour taste is not good eats. Alright. Voila. Four cups of milk. 4 tablespoons. I like recipes that are, simple. So 1 tablespoon butter, 1 tablespoon flour, 1 tablespoon, 1 cup rather of milk, where it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. The exception, of course, is going to be the sugar. I got a half a cup of sugar here. Now, that just seems to be what works out for us. You make it sweeter or less sweet depending on your your personal taste. So that's going to be per serving, and this is actually 4 servings, right? It's going to be an 1/8 cup or 2 tablespoons of sugar per serving. So, I suppose that screws with the formula a little bit. Now your roux is going to start to get just a little bit of color, a little beige, a little tannish. You don't really want a brick roux, which is a dark brown roux, for this. You don't want to impart that much toasty flavor to this. And since I'm using cast iron, of course, I put that in there real gradually, because I don't, I don't want to crack a La Crusette pan, which are pretty nice. It's not something I'd want to lose, especially since this one has particular emotional attachment for me. So if you're watching, I still have it, and I'm still using it. All right. Now it's getting warm already. That's groovy. I'll put in my chocolate. Fantastic. And I'm going to start mixing that around so it melts and becomes homogeneous throughout. Okay. So you're going to end up with something that looks, essentially like chocolate milk. And now I'm going to add my sugar again before this gets terribly warm. It's warm to the touch. Just start adding my sugar. Now, by the way, if you can't get Amish-made, bulk chocolate, you can make this with Baker's chocolate. You can make it with Hershey bars or any other chocolate candy bar that you like, You can make it with Toll House morsels. About 1/2 pound of chocolate. Wherever you happen to acquire it, it's 1/2 pound of chocolate, folks. You can get little chocolate wafers at the craft stores. If you're watching this in Europe, I'm sure there are all kinds of little places that sell milk chocolates and dark chocolates as wafers or cubes or whatever. So you don't have to grind your own chocolate. It's just the way I choose to do it. And the reason is I really like the taste of this chocolate, and that's the purpose in making this from scratch too. As I was saying earlier, if you know the fundamentals, you know the techniques, you can do this, you get a better taste. Can you buy ready-made and just cook it up? Yes. Can you buy instant? Yes, it works fine, and I happen to like those. But they don't taste as rich, and they don't taste as depth of flavor. They're just not as good, folks. So that is why I'm being prompted from the background, by the way, to put in a pinch of salt. Because salt is used, if you read the ingredients on purchased mixes, there's going to be some salt. Probably a number of other things like preservatives, which you don't have here. Okay? Because you don't need it to be shelf stable. It's not sitting on the shelf already mixed up. And I know for many of you that is, pretty important. That you know what is in your food. So we're going to bring this to a boil, and then we'll get right back to you. Hang tight. Okay, it's just starting to come to a boil, and you want to watch this like a hawk, because once it starts to boil, it'll foam over on you in a heartbeat. So you want to be careful. You don't want to scorch it, and you don't want it to boil over into your stove, especially if you got a gas stove. Okay, so once this comes to a boil, which it is now, we're going to give it 1 minute. Because you got to boil it for 1 minute. We're going to back the heat down so it doesn't go ape. And we're going to kind of move it off and on to keep it boiling, but not boiling over. As you can see, it builds up some body, and it'll foam over because it is thickening. But you got to get 1 full minute of cook time to get the full thickening capacity of your roux. I think I backed it down enough to where it's not going to go over on me, not in a minute anyway. But again, you want to keep an eye on this. Don't walk away from it, folks, because it will it'll foam over on you so fast you can't believe it. Some things that I show you, they're like, like the bean soup. There we are. You can leave them alone, but not this. And that was it. That was our 1 minute of cook time. Okay, and take it off the heat. Get the heat off. Cast iron pans holds a lot of heat. Still got to boil for a second. And that's it. We got to let this rest for a moment. Mostly because it's, it's just dangerously hot, that's all. So, I guess I whisk it all I need to whisk it. Let me get that out of the way. I'll be right back. So, toss that aside. The handle on this, because of the way it's made, is not hot, but that assist handle probably is. So I'm going to get a mitt, because I do not want to burn myself. I've done that once already in the last 24 hours. I don't care to do it again. Well, I got 2 big bowls out here, and I had sort of thought it would hold it, but we'll see. I don't think so now, but we'll see. Maybe. Sure it will. Look at that. And it's easy enough to decide whose is whose. The big one's mine. And I a pig. That's it, folks. Cooked chocolate pudding. Milk, sugar, flavoring, in this case chocolate, butter, and flour for a roux. You make the roux, you put in the other ingredients, you melt them up, bring them to a boil, cook them 1 minute, shut it off, pour it in the bowls, you're done. I swear to God, that's all there is to it, and you're going to get this beautiful, big, rich flavor of chocolate, or whatever you happen to use. If you want to use a vanilla bean to get real vanilla flavor in your milk, that's wonderful. You can even do some offbeat things. I mean, you could use berries, like black raspberries or blackberries or mulberries or whatever if you wanted to make a berry pudding, you could. That would be unusual, but it wouldn't be bad. I mean, it's milk and whatever the flavoring agent is. So be creative, folks. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little tour of making American-style pudding here on the Real United States. You got questions or comments, leave them in the comments section down below. I love hearing from all of you. I try to get back to everybody I can. If you're new here, hey, welcome. I hope you'll click subscribe and come along for the adventure, because we got lots more to show you. And as always, folks, well, thank you for watching.
Thank you.